Let's talk NFL Week 18 here on the Cowboys Report. The Dallas Cowboys are 13-point favorites, and that line might have been closer to kickoff. There's been some growing buzz out of Landover, Maryland, that, hey, maybe the Commanders, some of their key veterans won't play in the final regular season game. Nearly being a full two-score favorite on the road doesn't happen very often. The Commanders, they're going to fire Ron Rivera, I would assume, on Black Monday. And Dallas should clinch the NFC East with a win against Washington. Now, the Cowboys injury report breaks down like this. Now, again, as a reminder, we filmed this before Saturday when it goes out. So the description, the comments will have the full, final, updated version. I think good news on Rico Dowdle was full on Thursday, heading in the right direction. Dorrance Armstrong is not. You might play it safe with him and make him inactive and maybe give Junior Fehoko his first active playing time, or at least give more Sam Williams playing time. I think Hankins heading in the correct direction, limited on Wednesday and Thursday, so barring setbacks, I think we're going in the right direction there. Might be on a pitch count. Don't anticipate Tyler Smith being able to play. Wanye Thomas, Malik Hooker, Chuma Adoga, and Chauncey Golston all getting sick. Right as a chat sports illness comes through again. Go figure with the Dallas office, how that works out. We'll see how they progress, but I would lean towards them being able to go. So will the Cowboys cover that massive spread against the Commanders? Sound off for me in the comment section right now. Let's talk matchups to watch. Number one, and I told us on the earlier preview, we're going to wait and see who the Commanders announce the quarterback. It will be Sam Howell. The chaos merchant himself and one of the most turnover-prone quarterbacks in football. All the fuss about, Dak's turnovers was never an issue, has been one for Sam Howell. He's got a lot of passing yards this season and a lot of turnovers as well. He has been a bit of a interception chaos machine. He'll make some big plays through the air, but he holds the ball forever. His supporting cast is not great. In terms of, balancing things from that perspective and having, the right moments of maximizing him. And Eric Bieniemy's a good offensive mind, but he makes a lot of mistakes in terms of just having a quick game competency, which is great news for Dallas. They take advantage of that. I would like to see them take advantage of Sam Howell and maybe get one more pick six this week. Kind of tying into that, matchup number 2 is the Dallas defensive line versus the Commanders offensive line. Micah has not gotten to 14 sacks yet in his NFL career. He wants it this week. And the Commanders' offensive line is still a bit nicked up. Charles Leno's on IR from the last time these two teams played. It's Cornelius Lucas. It's Sadiq Charles, Nick Gates, Sam Cosmi, Andrew Wiley. It's not nearly as bad of an offensive line as the sack numbers might otherwise indicate, but it is a offensive line that you should be able to beat. And Micah made the joke about he's going to jump off two times this week. Don't do that, Micah. Let's not create bad habits. But he wants more sacks this year because he wants to get over that 13 hump that he's been on the past 2 seasons. He's had a tremendous amount of pressure success, etc. But I know Micah wants some more impact plays against the Commanders team that this defense thinks they should be able to have some success against. So what is your confidence level in beating the Commanders? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. It's the pinned comment. If the ad comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. Number 3 matchup is the left guard against the Washington Commanders defensive line. Now, I will make note, Jonathan Allen is a bit banged up right now, which is important to consider because he's a big part of that defensive line. Again, I hope this is a freezing cold take when it comes out on Saturday. I don't think Tyler Smith will play. Mike McCarthy made the comment of, got to see something on Saturday for him to go. And every time I think it's a 99% rate in his time in Dallas, that guy does not end up playing because they're not going to be able to go on Saturday. / if this were a playoff game, you'd be pushing a lot harder. Currently, you're probably going to be a little bit more patient there. So left guard is going to be key. Because that's where the Commanders' talent is. It's at defensive tackle. Now, again, Allen is banged up, battling a knee injury. In a meaningless Week 18 game, he might not go, which would mean more Fidarian Mathis, We'll see how much Daron Payne plays. And then Cowboys legend John Ridgeway, also on the Commanders. He's a bit nicked up, but he's fine. He's going to play through it. Number 4 matchup is the Cowboys defensive backs against the Commanders wide receivers. Remember, the last time these two teams played, the Commanders actually had some success through the air, although it didn't lead to anything in the end because they were turnover-prone merchants. Daron Bland, Stephon Gilmore, Jordan Lewis, all going to play. They've all played pretty well. By the way, quick aside, the play of Jordan Lewis has been very impressive as of late, especially in run support. I think that's been a big reason why they've been better against the run the last 2 weeks. We'll come back to Bland, by the way. Is worth mentioning Curtis Samuel is a bit dinged up right now, battling a hamstring injury. Terry McLaurin is one of the better receivers in the NFL, and he would be better if his quarterback wasn't so inconsistent. His numbers against Dallas have never actually been that good, though. Now, if you want to go to this game, got to use Game Time. $20 off your first purchase when you use promo code CowboysChat at GameTime.co. And maybe more feasibly, since I know many of you live in Dallas or in the area, if you want to go to the playoff game or games, make sure you're using Game Time. Last-minute tickets right up to the start of the event. Exclusive deals, flash deals, sponsor deals for not just sports, but concerts, comedy, theater, and more. So download the Game Time app today. Create your account and use code CowboysChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but create your account and use code COWBOYSCHAT for $20 off your first purchase. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. We appreciate Game Time sponsoring us here at the Cowboys Report. Number 5 matchup is the narrative battle. Cowboys on the road, right? And they got some revenge to take out because last year, Week 18 on the road, they were absolutely terrible. Then they managed to kind of dial things up and have better success against Tampa before falling apart against the 49ers, unfortunately. Knock out the road narrative. Take care of business on the road. Don't kind of fart around and have to play longer than you need to in this one. All right, players to watch. First up is Jake Ferguson. Now, Cam Curl's banged up right now. By the way, so too is Kendall Fuller at corner because this is a Commanders team kind of on the brink. Ferguson is 8 yards away from a 700-catch season. I think there are times I wish they would use him more. There are even times opposing teams try to limit him. If it's not Land they're taking away, they're trying to take away Ferguson. I think he can have success. Doesn't this game against the Commanders feel like a Dak seam ball to Ferguson game? I think it does. Now, we will have you covered on all the Dallas Cowboys news. Hit that sub button, and we'll be live, of course, for the Cowboys game and playoff games as well, right here on the channel. Number 4 player to watch, Donovan Wilson. I don't think it's an accident that the last 3 weeks, when the defense has played better, with some exceptions in those games, Donovan Wilson's played better. His last 3 weeks are his 3 weeks with the most tackles this season. He has kind of upped his play the last few games. And I think that matters. If you want to stop the run, you need one of your box guys to make plays against it. And that really hadn't been Damone Clark. I think Donovan Wilson and Jordan Lewis have stepped up in that area. Other defender, how about Daron Bland? The last time Daron Bland played against the Commanders was his worst game of the year until he played the Seahawks, but he set the pick mark, and that's all we cared about. Daron Bland has not been targeted that much the last, really since the Seahawks game, frankly. Some game script stuff as well, but not a lot from that perspective. Meanwhile, against the Commanders, Curtis Samuel, 4 targets, 3 catches, 51 yards. Samuel played really well. He had 100 yards, first time happened all year. Dotson had some success. Scary Terry did not. There was also a check down to Antonio Gibson that was part of that. So will Daron Bland get another pick 6? A for yes and B for no. Sound off for me in the comment section right now. Sure would be nice to get one more. Put that record even further away, but get your predictions in for me in the comments. All right, number 2 player to watch is Tony Pollard. Pollard's numbers are not nearly what they need to be this year. Now, he's probably going to get to 1,000 yards this season. The efficiency has gone significantly down. I actually think his biggest issues have been as kind of more some pass protection stuff. But since week 9, some great stats here from John Owning. These are all PFF numbers, by the way. Yards after contact this year. Since week 9, among the 45 qualifying backs, he's actually 8 out of 45. In missed tackles forced, he's 3rd of 45. But in yards before contact, he's 36 of 45. Now, I'm not absolving Pollard of blame for this running game. I want to make that clear. This is also why I don't want to pay backs, period, because their success is so dependent on the supporting cast around them. And the scheme in the offensive line supporting cast has not been very good. And my issue is, I don't think that's going to change this year. The final player to watch, an alien. Also, please note I wrote player, not person. Brandon Aubrey has a chance to set a record this year. He is 35 of 35, knock on wood, in made field goals this year. The record is 37, held by Mike Vanderjagt. If you guys remember him, the idiot kicker. I think that was him. He could settle for 2 or 3. Would that be surprising if he had 2 or 3 chances? I would not be. So we'll see if Aubrey, our alien, get it in the comment section, can set that mark.